7:27 Eastern time. Just wanted to pop on here and chat with you a little bit. I'm getting on just a little early because I'm at the gate at the airport, and we're going to be boarding about the time we would normally hop on. So, because of that, I hope it's cool. But we're just going to kind of start a little early, and I'll go as long as I can. But nevertheless, listen, listen. Look outside right now. There's the sunrise over Brevard County. Never, ever a disappointing moment. It is just so beautiful outside. This is the kind of stuff that I'm excited to come back to. I definitely will say I miss that beautiful sunrise over the water. And granted, I've been in Houston, so it's not like the weather has been crummy here. I just don't get a chance to look at our tower cams and out the window. Now, for my own selfish benefit, just got to check. Okay, so there are some delayed flights. Mine still says on time. Knock on wood. Okay, that's another flight. I'm literally at the gate of the airport, so forgive me for that. But anyway, good morning to you. Thank you for hanging out with us. This is Coffee Talk. So we're going to talk a little weather, and then if you'll allow me, I want to do another show and tell, just talking about the second day of our time over at the Johnson Space Center. What an incredible opportunity this has been. What an incredible opportunity, man. All right, let's talk about our weather forecast first off, shall we? All right, beautiful. First warning, live Doppler radar. Not showing too much out there. Temperatures around the area, 60s and 70s. It is lovely. And where are we heading this afternoon? But back to the 90s, right? 87 by 1 o'clock. 91 degrees out high temperature. It's going to be another warm day in the neighborhood and another dry day. And that's a building concern, if I'm honest. The rain is a necessity. We are falling further and further behind. We've shown this quite a bit here in the last couple of days. We'll get a new one of these tomorrow at about 9 a.m. So we'll do our coffee talk with this tomorrow, and it'll be back at 8 a.m. And then looking ahead to the afternoon at 3:30. I should be able to do a 3:30 today, by the way, from home, and should be able to do 3:30 tomorrow. And 3:30 tomorrow we'll be able to do the updated drought monitor, which should give us that idea of how much worse. And I do think most of Central Florida should go into a severe drought tomorrow. I'm concerned some of us go into an extreme drought condition, if I'm honest with you. So, for what it's worth, that is a big concern. Now, before we go any deeper into the weeds here, let's just talk about temperatures. It's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be a breezy day. But if you live out west, it's going to be a hot day. A very, very warm day. 94 in Wildwood, 93 in Leesburg. Average high temperature is about 82 degrees. I have a friend works for the weather company. He's a meteorologist. He's in town with his family, and he asked, "Is it usually this hot out this time of year?" And I'm like, "No, it's not." This is definitely, now we do have some cooler temperatures in the forecast, but at least for us today, that's not the case. Easterly breeze, and it's a fairly gusty easterly breeze, so we'll enjoy temperatures in the low to mid 80s at the beaches, lower 90s across the metro, mid 90s out west. It's going to be blistering hot. Yeah, we're getting to some summer levels. Yeah. David, did I get some Texas bar? Would you believe me if I told you I didn't? The barbecue places that were near town, or were near where I was located, were closed. Dickies was closed. All of them were closed. So I didn't get any Texas barbecue, which is like crazy. But I didn't want to spend the money for the Uber to go anywhere else. So it's like, I had some good salad. It was fine. It was fine. It was fine. Yeah. Airport coffee, but coffee nonetheless. Thank you for keeping it real. Thank you, Brent. I appreciate it, buddy. Hey, it's still coffee, and that's needed. All right. Canes. I did have some canes. Some good chicken. Yeah. All right. So that's where we're at today. Okay. Now we do have some rain in the forecast. So let's do this. Let's just kind of look at how our weekends shapes up because that's when the rain chances are going to be rising. Okay. For your Saturday, for Easter weekend, we're looking at a 30% chance of rain. For your Sunday, we're looking at a 40% chance of rain. So those rain chances are going to be rising. And more specifically, because I know you're going to ask, I know you. It's okay. Easter Sunday in general. How does that play out? First off, the morning for sunrise services, you're going to be fine. Midday, that's when we're going to start to watch for a few showers. And then particularly into the afternoon, evening time frame, that's when we're going to be looking at some rainfall. So just keep that in mind. No big deal. We can handle it. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. We need the rainfall. When we look at the rain numbers, so we talked about being in such a drought. When we look at the rainfall numbers for the year, Orlando has crossed the mark. We are now 6 inches behind where we should be this time of year in Orlando. Sanford, almost 5 inches. Melbourne, 4.5 or approaching 4.5. Leesburg, 6.5 inches of rain behind where we should be. So yeah, these are some concerning numbers, right? These are some concerning numbers. But how much rain is in the forecast? Well, that depends on which model you look at. So let's just take a second and let's look at the 7-day forecast together, and then we can elaborate more on this, okay? So first and foremost, hot and dry today, hot and dry tomorrow, hot and dry Friday. Saturday, a few showers, maybe a few thunder showers. Sunday, Easter Sunday into Monday, rising rain chances. Okay, we're going with a 40% coverage, but that's because the model agreement is not there. We're not 100% dialed in onto what we're going to expect. So just take a look. These are the two global models. Okay, and I think that this should give you an idea of the difference, right? On the left, the European model, which is throwing up 1 to 2 inches of rain on the low side around our area. Many locations, particularly east of town, 2 to 3 inches. That would be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That would be such welcome news. That would be such welcome news. The GFS, on the other hand, is saying less than a half an inch of rain across most of town, a half inch to an inch back over to Brevard County, with some sliver, if you look closely around Melbourne, Patrick Space Force, but those areas getting into the 1 to 2 inch range. So some areas you get that kind of rain. So it just depends on which model you look at, but we'll have to wait and see how it plays out, right? Rain, definitely something we need. We'll see. At the end of the day, we'll see, right? Yeah. Will it rain in Newport Richey? We'll see. I mean, at the end of the, we can look at the computer models, okay? And I'll show you what is today's Wednesday, so we have to go long range. Let's just look long range for a minute. Actually, you know what? We can do this. Stand by. All right. And this, I feel like, is not configured properly, but we'll go with it for now. So there's Saturday, particularly late, some showers east of town. There's Sunday. You can kind of see the European going much wetter, right? Showing much more rain around, whereas the GFS is kind of confining it to the coastline. Look at that. I mean, the European Easter evening is like showing decent rains all over Central Florida, which, again, would be a very welcome sight. The heavy rain, look at that, overnight, Sunday into Monday. And then whereas the GFS is going a little wetter on Monday, actually they're both going pretty wet on Monday. If you trust the European, it would be like a 100% chance of rain. And I think that, now understand, I've not been dialed into the forecast much, so I'm kind of working through Kellyanne's forecast while chatting with you. But I think Kellyanne's doing a very responsible thing. Kellyanne is saying we're hedging our bets lower, right? Sunday into Monday, we're going 40%, kind of trying to show the lower end of the echelon, knowing that European model may end up playing through. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So that makes sense. I think Kellyanne's making a great call on that forecast. But, nevertheless, we're in that severe drought. And if you look at the Food Fire and Drought Index numbers, These numbers are continuing to go up, right? We're seeing several counties in the orange color now, and burn bans are spread through much of Central Florida. So that's kind of where we're at right now. It's not great news. It's definitely not great news. What we need is some heavy rainfall, and at least now we just don't. All right. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Any questions, comments, concerns? Let me pop up the 7-day forecast, and then you have to let me nerd out. You have to let me nerd out on my encounters here yesterday. All right. So here's the 7-day forecast, and we can chat. Let's take a couple seconds and let's chat about the forecast, and then we can move on. Right. So for today, hot, dry condition. Right. Tomorrow, hot and dry. Friday, hot and dry. A couple of showers building in there on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Not washouts or anything, but for now we're not forecasting washouts. But remember, the computer models are not agreeing, and computer models are guidance, not gospel. So we'll have to see how that plays out. It'll be interesting to watch and see the genesis of it all, if you will. Right? All right. Everybody good with that? Any questions, comments, concerns? Let's check in and see. I vote for the Euro model, Cheryl says. I would agree with that. And good morning. I forgot. I've been running my mouth so much. I forgot I haven't gotten a chance to yenter it up much. Let's all do a rain dance. Valerie says rain dance. Yeah. Which direction is it coming from? Kind of from the north, northwest. Yeah. Have company coming in Monday from Massachusetts for some beach and pool time. Patty, I hope that we'll be good for it. We'll have to see how that plays out. Foggy in Deltona this morning. Yes. Well, that too. I didn't even mention. My apologies. I didn't even mention we do have dense fog advisories in effect for some parts of Central Florida. See, this is why my not being there is playing to my disadvantage, right? Flagler and Marion counties under that dense fog advisory this morning. When we look at the visibility numbers around Central Florida, I didn't even do this off the top. Yeah, look at West Volusia, DeLand, down to nothing. Sanford, 2-mile visibility. Palm Coast, nothing. So there's definitely some fog around Central Florida this morning. Yeah. So, all right. So that's that. We can get back to the weather at the end, but I do want to take a few seconds. If you'll thrill me, I do want to take a few seconds and just share some of the things that we did yesterday. So, of course, the first day met the astronauts for Artemis 2. Had the chance to sit down and chat with them. Wow. Got a chance to see the Neutral Buoyancy Lab. So many things. So yesterday, our day started off here on Mars, but with trees and a power line. What? Yeah. We ended up getting the chance to be over at the part of the Johnson Space Center where they are testing lunar rovers. And that puppy, the motion on that thing, I posted it on my Facebook page yesterday. It was wild to watch. It was so cool to watch. So yeah, very cool. Gina, when do I sleep? I don't sleep enough, if I'm honest. I woke up this morning at 3:30 to get a 4 a.m. Uber to the airport and all that stuff because I wanted to be at the gate early enough to do coffee talk. So yeah. So anyway, not much sleep. All right, so got a chance to see the rover, got a chance to see how it moves around. It was a truly remarkable thing to watch. Just mind-boggling to see what they're working on, okay? Here's another shot. It went up the hill and down the hill and it moved around sideways, all kinds of goofy things. Then I got a chance. No, I didn't get a chance to drive it. It was turned off and parked by that point. But I did get a chance to kind of see how the interface looked. And this is one of the prototypes of what the astronauts are going to have the opportunity to use when they get to the lunar surface. So, very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. They're discussing whether or not it would be pressurized and, just all these very cool things. So that was already neat. And then they moved us over to this area where they're essentially training on full-size mock-ups, full-size replicas of the different things. For example, half the building, we didn't go over there, but half the building was the International Space Station. Cool. This half of the building was the gateway and kind of all the Artemis type stuff, the SOS type stuff. So that, for example, there on the right side is the gateway. Okay, if you're unfamiliar with what the gateway is, here's kind of a future, if you will. So they're going to be launching pieces of this, and it's going to end up. And by the way, guys, this is real stuff. I believe starting with Artemis 4, the idea is have this gateway orbiting the moon, and then the Orion capsule will dock with the gateway, and on Artemis 4 and so on, SpaceX has, at least for now, has won the contract. So Starship would be docked with the gateway. Starship will take the astronauts down to the lunar surface and then come back to the gateway. So it's going to be this lunar orbiting laboratory. What? And you can kind of see what's particularly cool about this as well is that it is a truly multinational thing. Japanese Space Agency, the European Space Agency, the Canadians, and the United States, all subcontractors, all working together to build this thing. Now, a couple of cool facts about this. Okay. I would be a great NASA teacher. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Debbie says, what an opportunity, right? Nerded out, Mary. Oh my gosh, Mary Joanne, absolutely. Yeah. You must really love us to get up that early to make sure you can do. I do love you guys. You know that. What an opportunity for you. Awesome stories and photos to tell your grandchildren. Yeah. So it's a type of ISS, but for the moon. Yeah. So think of it like it's a different space station. So it's going to be much smaller than the International Space Station. Remember, the International Space Station has been fully staffed for more than 20 years now. This is going to have the build out mentality is that this is going to have staff for 1 month a year, and that's it. Okay? It will take it about 6 to 7 days. It's going to be in a super unique orbit, 6 to 7 days to orbit the moon. And it will be in such a position that it's going to, think about it, it's not going to orbit the moon between the dark side and the non-dark side of the moon. It will orbit around kind of the poles. And so by doing so, it will never have a communications blackout, but it will take about 6 days. So the idea would be for these lunar missions is as Starship comes down from the gateway, you're on the ground on the lunar surface, and you can't get picked up for 6 days. So you'll be living and working out of the Starship for 6 days. But they pointed out that also means in an emergency situation, you have to be able to survive without any opportunities to get up for 6 days, right? So there's all these things that go into it, and it will start with a very small portion of the gateway, and then little by little, they'll be adding communication satellites around the moon. Communication on the dark side of the moon, you have to think about these things. It's all line of sight. What a fascinating trip. What a fascinating trip it was. If nothing else, I do feel like this is going to give me the opportunity to really discuss this program in depth in our television coverage. In depth. Invaluable trip this was, okay? All right, so got to see Gateway. Very cool. And we got to see the Orion capsule. Unmanned or uncrewed, I should say, on Artemis 1. Artemis 2, we met the 4 astronauts that are going to go on this thing. I got to go on that thing. Yeah. So enter the hatch. There I am, sitting in the seat, getting a chance to get a feel of it, get to see what their sight picture was like. This is essentially that's the computer screen. That joystick is the only way that they can manually. Now it's a fully autonomous craft, but that's the joystick that gives them the opportunity to move things around. Then I got a chance to run the simulator. It wasn't a very long period of time, but it was long enough. Got a chance to learn the systems, kind of understand. Like, for example, one thing that really struck me, when you're sitting in the chair, you've got the computer displays. If you look up, if you look up, you can see out the windows. So, for example, when I was practicing, The simulator was docking Orion's capsule to the gateway, which won't happen on Artemis 2, won't happen on Artemis 3. That's an Artemis 4 mission. This is a sit-up simulator. It's not like I'm laying on my back or anything. Okay, this was just a sit-up simulator. But the idea was, if you look out those windows on the top there, you're looking essentially up. So the visibility is nothing. So I had to use the computer screen with cameras, and that's how I was able to dock with the gateway. And may I add, got the crosshairs. Successfully docked with gateway. Boom. That was the end of the simulation when basically it just shows how off I was. And I saw somebody had asked a second ago, how different is it because I've flown airplanes? It's actually a very different mentality, because with an airplane, you really want to steer perfectly. With this, every hit you use is fuel. And you don't want to use more fuel than you have to, because you only got so much, right? So in this case, I was surprised that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be good enough. And I'm sure that that's like one of those NASA jokes, I would imagine at least. So I just thought that was pretty neat. All right, next simulator up. This was kind of cool. Got to adjust. This is think of it like if you've ever been to the Cinedome at the Science Center, think of it as a Cinedome, but with a simulator. And you're looking up through the top of what is the International Space Station. That's the simulator that the astronauts use to learn how to use the robot. Not going to Toronto. So we got a chance to pilot the robotic arm for the ISS. And then they had a virtual reality environment for Starship there at the center of the street. They had a virtual reality environment that allowed you to kind of walk around the lunar surface and just kind of practice different scenarios like sunset and all that transition, which I thought was pretty cool as well. And then after that, got a chance to go to the Johnson Space Center Houston, their version of the Kennedy Space Center visitor complex. I'm an aviation nerd, so I got a chance to see I got a chance to see the 747 there. That used to take the shovels around, so that was pretty cool. 747 100 series. Got a chance to see that, and that's kind of how I ended my day. So all in all, I would say that it was the trip of a lifetime, and I know that sounds so cheesy, and that's okay, but it was. Grateful that the station allowed me to do this. Grateful that the station understands the importance of this, and I don't think that they will even, if I'm honest, they're not even going to get a chance to benefit from this kind of effort until we get into Artemis coverage, and at that point, we're really going to be able to, I feel uniquely qualified to go particularly in depth on this, to understand the programs that they're running, to understand kind of what they're doing, and to elaborate on this. So I'm very grateful for that. So anyway, any questions, anything? Eventually you can stay the night or for several nights. Future plans and NASA. Oh, at the gateway, yeah, that's another thing is in the event that commercial users develop abilities to get to lunar orbit. Yeah, that's the idea. So it was just incredible. It was just incredible. Rosebud, is there a rocket launch in Florida today? Not today, but I believe late Thursday into Friday there is a Falcon 9. It's early, and even though I'm a space nerd, I do not see myself going to that or being awake for that. That's just me, though. Yeah, that's just me. So, yeah, it was so cool. Good morning from Patrick, Space Force Base. Larry, good morning to you, buddy. Being a pilot had to help you understand and learn quickly. Yeah, I would say Milia did. You know what else did? If any of you guys are ever interested, if you Google SpaceX ISS simulator, if you Google, let me 2 seconds. Okay. All right. The first thing that you're going to see there is it's labeled ISS Docking Simulator. Let me move this over here. ISS Docking Simulator. If you click that, God's honest truth, I've done this before. Okay, I mean, this is gonna sound so silly. I've done this before, and this, obviously, I piloted Orion, but having done this prepared me for what I did. And essentially, this is it's the same idea. They put me in this odd trajectory, and I had to use the thrusters to get up. Now, this ISS-sim.spacex.com, I'd done this, so I felt like uniquely set up to pilot the Orion. So anyway, I would suggest you do this. I would 100% suggest you do that. It's a way to get at least a feel for it, if nothing else. And that's basically the way that I did it. So I would highly suggest it. I would highly suggest it. It's very cool stuff. All right. Any other questions? What do we got here? Any other questions? Any other questions? Just checking on you. Of course, having a connection issue. I feel like the internet here at the airport's a little grumpy from time. Oh, the gate has changed. Oh, but I'm at the gate already. Okay, that's good. Okay, well, that's not too bad. All right, any questions, comments, concerns? Anything? Just checking. It was the, to say that it was the opportunity of a lifetime. I think I think that's just scratching the surface. If I'm 100% honest, it's just scratching the surface. So I appreciate you guys hanging out very, very much. Thank you so much for hanging for Coffee Talk. Thank you so much for the support, as always. And I look forward to chatting with you guys back in Florida. It won't be long now, just a little bit. All right. Beat it sunshine in someone else's day. Take care, and we will see you guys and gals later on. Bye.